Okay. We're now in a public hearing on ordinance 2022-24. Third reading, this is third reading, an ordinance to amend chapter 42 land development regulations of the county, Calhoun County Ordinance. This is third reading. Rich, you think you need to say anything about that?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair and Council. So this has been brought to you a couple times on this third reading. This was presented to the Planning Commission early on in the summer and then officially presented to them at their November meeting. This is, you've got an executive summary in your packet of all the items that it addressed. Most of it had to do with making this line up with state regulations and referencing the proper other regulations. Two items of note in the change. One is something called minor subdivision approval. Subdivisions of 6 lots or less is an administrative approval. The other item of note is that in the current land development regulations, we've got curb and gutters required on subdivisions with lots 1 acre or less. And that's just, it's not really something that's functional in the development world. And this regulation mimics most others, that it's 1/3 of an acre or less requires curb and gutter for smaller lot subdivisions. That's pretty much it.
So actually, this is just an update. That's an update of what we have.
Yes, sir, it is.
Anyone have any questions, Rich? Thanks, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we give third reading to ordinance 2022-24.
Is there a second?
Second.
Properly moved and second. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, likewise, ayes have it. Thank you all. Second ordinance is ordinance 2022-25. This is for third reading also. An ordinance to change the zoning destination of TMS number 021-00-00-011 from rural neighborhood community commercial to industrial to community commercial and industrial. Motion for
Open it up for
I'm sorry. Yeah, because we're doing this thing a little different. Okay, we'll open up for public discussion. And the public can interject something if they like. If not, we're out of the third reading on ordinance 2022-25.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adopt ordinance 2022-25.
Second. Yes. Properly moved and second. Any further discussion?
I would like to say something about it.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
I'm gonna vote no on that because the constituents have overwhelmingly voiced their opposition to changing any zoning in that area. So I just want to be on record that I voted no.
Well, you will have a chance, yeah, okay, that's fine. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, likewise, the ayes have it. Motion for approval of the December 12th, 2022 regular meeting.
Second.
Properly moved and second. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, likewise, the ayes have it. Committee reports. We will probably be changing the committees, so I'm assuming we won't have any tonight. We'll appoint the standing committees. I didn't know whether I'd be chairman or who'd be chairman, we didn't know. So at the next meeting, we'll try to appoint the standing committees and everybody know what committees they're a part of. Any appointments? No proclamations. Okay, on the appearance, we have Representative Russell Ott. Grant, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the council. Appreciate y'all allowing me to be here with you tonight. My name is Russell Ott. Represent House District 93, which is all of Calhoun County, portions of Lexington County, and some of Orangeburg County as well. But most importantly, this is home. So it's a pleasure to be here before you tonight to talk about a few things. And if I might, Mr. Chairman, just also commend everyone in the room for coming out and being a part of this process and taking ownership in what goes on in Calhoun County. There's a lot of county council meetings that go on across the state that don't have this type of involvement, so I think it's something for us to celebrate and be proud of. If I may, also, congratulations, Mr. Chairman, on your chairmanship, and to Councilwoman Bonnett. I always have to make sure I say Bonnett and not Riley. Rebecca Ann and I go way back. Congratulations on your election. I don't think Keith will get too mad at me if I say that council hasn't looked that good in a long time. Your brother fresh air, so congratulations. Mr. Chairman, just wanted to come tonight and talk about some funding issues. It's a positive note. We at the state have been very blessed. The state of South Carolina has been very blessed over the course of the last 3 or 4 years. Our economy is certainly churning and is doing very well. And that can't be said for other states across the country. We came through the pandemic very well. Our revenues continue to come in at a very high level. And so, obviously, budgeting and trying to decide what to do with that revenue has continued to be at the forefront of the things that we've worked on in Columbia over the course of the last few years. Last year, for this current budget cycle, I'm very proud to say that we focused a lot on sending money back to the taxpayers. Folks should have already received their tax rebates that we passed, up to about $800 per filer. That should already be back in everyone's pockets by now. And we are systematically bringing down that top income tax bracket also. On top of that, we continue to make sure that our reserve funds stay at a very significant level, so that in the event that at some point it's going to happen, we're going to have a downturn in the economy, we want to make sure that we're not going to have these across-the-board cuts that we've seen in the state of South Carolina in years past, because we didn't have the reserves to be able to handle it. So we have constitutional requirements that we have to meet each and every year as far as setting aside money. We've met those, but we've also exceeded those. And as you know, there were also constitutional amendments placed on the ballot recently that upped those levels. So just wanted to let you know about that. It looks like the upcoming year is going to be another good year financially for the state. What I wanted to make sure of is that outside of that, as a statewide perspective, I wanted to make sure that Calhoun County gets its fair share. I love being from a rural community, but I can tell you a lot of times in the state, our rural communities get overlooked. And we have to fight and scratch for everything that we can possibly get. And we're going to do that. That's my pledge. I promised that early on, that I was going to make sure that we could do everything we possibly could to make sure that Calhoun County was not overlooked. So, having said all of that, that started out years ago. We started out with projects like the John Ford Community Center, and trying to make sure that we were able to bring it up to speed and it could be something that the community could really be proud of. That is an ongoing project. It's been phased in over many years, but man, if you haven't been out there, members of the public haven't been to John Ford Community Center, I would encourage them to go and use it, because it is first class. I have people from all across the state that come and ask me, to tell them about it. I've taken people on tours out there from other counties across the state. So it really is awesome that we have that right here in St. Matthews, that folks from all across the county can use. Last year, we were able, in the last budget cycle, we were able to get $100,000 for the museum, to let them use that money out at the Dix Banks property. And I think the work is currently ongoing out there to bring it up to speed so that we have a place that we can be proud of and try to make sure that we preserve that part of Calhoun County's history. That moved into the current budget cycle. Worked with John. We identified, an issue right here in St. Matthews, the railroad cut. We've already talked about it, but that was something that truly was a blight on the community, and we wanted to go ahead and try to address it at an early time. So, tried to get the go ahead from folks and make sure that we could do that on the front end. We were able to do that. County Council put forward those dollars on the front end, with my pledge that I would figure out some way, somehow, to get that money back. And so that brings us to what I just wanted to let you know tonight. That ultimately we've got about $700,000 coming back to Calhoun County in this current budget year. We've got that $100,000 that will reimburse the county for the money on the railroad cut in St. Matthews. We have $100,000 that we allocated and appropriated for the walking trail, the walking track in Sandy Run. That was something that the community in Sandy Run, I know, wanted. We missed some opportunities, some grants that didn't materialize, unfortunately, but it was still something that the community wanted. So with that, you pair that with Hayward's Church, the Hayward Park up there that we've got some first class amenities now in Sandy Run. We got $450,000 for our sports complex right here in Calhoun County. I'm really excited about that, as I know each and every one of you are also. Our kids deserve every opportunity to play on first class facilities just like any other kid across the state. And you don't have to look very far to see what that type of facility can do. If you look at Orangeburg, they just landed the Dixie Youth Baseball, World Championship. That'll be coming to be played in Orangeburg this coming summer. That's going to have a huge impact on the local businesses in Orangeburg County, and it'll be able to allow them to show off their county. We can do that now. At some point in the near future, I'm hoping with Calhoun County and being able to bring folks in and show off what we have, but most importantly, again, like I said, providing our youth with the opposite opportunities that they deserve, trying to make sure that they stay busy, doing something positive and productive, rather than some of the things that I used to do, which weren't as positive and productive, and that can get you in trouble. So excited about that, and then finally we wanted to make sure that it was something positive for all parts of the county. And so in Cameron, we were able to get them some money for their welcome sign, welcoming folks into the town of Cameron. They moved forward. Those signs are actually already up, and so you add all of that up, and it's like I said, right at about $700,000 for our county this year of taxpayer dollars that was brought into the general fund from across the state, but that is coming back here. So I worked really hard on trying to build that bipartisan relationship with my colleagues in Columbia to make sure that when we have those opportunities, we can capitalize upon them. And I do believe that, like I said, that the revenues look like we're going to have some money to work with in the upcoming year. So I encourage each and every one of you. We have a great working relationship. Let's continue that, and whatever needs that you identify, just let me know. I'm a phone call away, and that's not just for county council, that's for the public as well, to let me know what the needs are so that we can go out there and try to address them. I just wanted to bring that bit of good news to you tonight. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Anybody had any questions?
Russell, I just appreciate everything you do for this county. I see how hard you work. I appreciate you.
Appreciate y'all. We work well together.
I'd like to go a little further and say, when the election was being held, everybody want to win, but I say, and I wish Russell would win ahead of me. I didn't want to lose Russell, because I know what he means in Calhoun County, and a lot of people, Russell was kind of generous and just mentioned a few things. I mean, we use him for a lot of things, and we appreciate him, because a lot of representatives and stuff stuff, we get nothing out of it. And so I appreciate Russell, and I'm gonna do my best to, hope he'll stay there and do my best to keep you there, Russell.
Well, like I said, Mr. Chairman, thank you, but it's not one person, it's a team effort. And I believe we've got the best people, in this whole state and this whole country, as far as I'm concerned, right here in Calhoun County. So, like I said, we get things accomplished when we work together, not against each other. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Now we're down to items, 14, old business. John, do we have any, no old business? And the new business, we have several items.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So the first one is the approval of the Tri-County, Multi-County Industrial Park Agreement. This is an agreement that we've been working on for about 2.5 years between Tri-County Electric Co-op, Orangeburg County, and Calhoun County. This is in regarding to roughly 300 acres in Orangeburg County at 601 and I-26. Calhoun County, previous to me coming over, had approved to get in partnership with Orangeburg County to ultimately try to make that an industrial park. Okay, so both Orangeburg and Calhoun County committed resources, funding to extend the infrastructure from the Orangeburg County side of the interstate to our side of the interstate to serve that industrial park. And that's been complete now. This agreement lays out the funding and the revenue mechanism to be able to get paid back. And then once we get an industry located on the site, how the revenue is broken out from there. And the summary there is that we, both Orangeburg and Calhoun County, will receive the revenue back 50%, each of us, until we are made whole for the infrastructure dollars that we put in. And then after that, after the infrastructure is paid off, then it will be divided up by 75% Orangeburg County will receive revenue and 25% Calhoun County. I want to say on behalf of myself, I want to thank Orangeburg County because ultimately this is property in Orangeburg County, served by Orangeburg County. I'm grateful that they were allowed us to give up 25% match there. We will, Calhoun County will help sell the property. We have already. We've gone to the Department of Commerce and talked with a number of prospects. But this finalizes that agreement that's in front of you, the Tri-County Multi-County Industrial Park.
Okay, so this is a new agreement that we're entering into now?
Yes, sir.
So in other words, we need a motion to enter into that agreement. Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the Tri-County Multi-County Industrial Park Agreement.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? I think several of y'all on council and got out there, probably you weren't, but you weren't responsible. But, that project was started a good while ago. It's gonna bring development down in this part of the county, so you don't have to depend everything on the upper part of the county. So that's a good thing. Glad to see us get the foot off. So any further discussion on that? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, likewise, ayes have it.
Number two is the acceptance of Wild Cherry Court into the county road maintenance system. This is a private road. It's roughly 420 foot long by 12 foot wide. It's a private road serving 3 residences. It's over in Council District 1, Councilman Carson's district. We were asked by the 3 residences if we could take a look at the road because of the shape the private road was in, and it was difficult for our EMS to actually get to the properties. And so we had talked to the property owner about signing over an easement, a road maintenance easement, and they have done such. And so I'd like to get approval to accept Wild Cherry Court into the county road maintenance system.
Have a motion to that effect.
I make a motion.
I'll second.
Probably moving second, any further discussion on that? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, likewise, ayes have it.
All right, and then the third is RFP 2207, concessions building at Sports Complex bid. As you know, if you've ridden by the site, you've seen work being done by the contractor, Wiley Eason. You approved that award here a couple months ago. They, other than rain, they are on schedule as they move forward. This is the concession building or field house that's gonna be located on the site. This was not part of the earthwork contract, the earthwork contractor, and so we put this out to bid. It's gonna be a 2,240,000 square foot, 2,240 square foot concessions building, bathrooms, storage tower. The new construction to include but not limited to 5 foot of concrete aprons around the building, reinforced concrete slab, wood stud frame walls with fiber cement siding and trim. We received 6 bids. The high was $795,000. The low was $375,000 to J.R. Barton. And the funding for this will come from the recreation bond that we took out, as well as Representative Ott's state appropriations that he just explained. So I would like to request to approve the low bid of $375,000 to J.R. Barton.
Motion for approval again.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I do wanna have a.
We
I do
I'll
have a
give you a
question.
chance. I'll give
Yeah,
you-
I move
let's
that we, award the bid to J.R. Martin at $375,000. Second.
Probably moving second. Now, any further discussion?
Yeah, what accounts, did anybody tell us what accounts for the huge difference between the high bid and the low bid?
No, sir, no accounts, more than likely though, just not needing the work, having enough work. And unfortunately, we only got one that's in the Orangeburg, Calhoun County area, the rest of the contractors were out of the area, out of the county.
Yeah, well,
So Barton is a
Orangeburg, yes, sir.
Okay, well, let me ask you this, has our architect reviewed their plans and make sure that they have not got something in there that's gonna call for a huge change order?
Yes, sir, the architect has, Richard and I have also met with the
Yeah,
contractor.
because I have seen low bids like that
Yes, sir.
because of something
Yes.
that they recognize they will make up the money on.
What we find too, a lot of times, Ken, is, people that bid high, don't want the job, they don't want the job.
Well, I understand
And if
that.
you give it to me, if you're foolish enough to give it to me, well, yeah, we'll go ahead and do it, but.
Well, like I say, sometimes they'll see something in the plans that says, well, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna get.
Yeah, I think with the change order, yeah.
And they'll hit you for 3 times what the change order's worth, just because you gotta have it, okay. But my motion stands.
I had a second, right?
You did.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, likewise, ayes have it. Thank y'all. Okay. Anything else, John, in the new business?
No, sir.